Hello and welcome to episode 133 of the Boot Nerds podcast. JayMike, what's going on?
Things are pretty good here in Denmark. Let's not talk football. It's, that's pretty awful. That backfired last time. I was like, yeah, Man United winning again. And then we went and got slapped. So, awesome stuff. But otherwise, I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. We have an episode of the Boot Nerds podcast. We're going to be talking about Mizuno. It's good. It's a good day.
Spoilers. No, well, people have seen the thumbnail, so I guess it's, We're going to be talking about Mizuno. We're going to be talking about limited edition stuff today. It's going to be pretty nice. And if you like limited edition stuff, you might as well go and leave a like on the video right away. Because we're going to talk about the Wave Ignitus 4 remake. And we're going to talk about the brand new PUMA Future Z 1.3, the teaser edition. Because that's the only thing we can show you at the moment. And yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're also going to be answering questions. And if you have any for Josh or myself or the both of us, you can leave them in the comment section right down below as always. And we'll answer the best ones in the next couple of episodes. Where should we start chronologically? Wave Ignitus 4?
Yeah, let's do that.
Right.
So,
here we are.
I don't think anyone was expecting these.
No, I was gonna say this is one of those. It kind of reminds me of that launch of the T90 Laser 1 remake from Nike that just came a little bit out of the blue and was like, "It's nice that you're releasing these, but why? Mm-hmm. What's the story?" And I realized that there was no story either with the Mizuno Wave, which was also a really nice remake. I was just like, why this? With that said, what a boot. What a football boot.
It's not that old because it technically came out in 2016.
16, which,
yeah. I mean, in my head doesn't seem like that long ago, but that is technically 8 years.
Yeah.
Which I guess is
6 years.
Six.
Quick maths.
6 years. I'm not good at math. 6 years, it's a long time in the world of football boots.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has aged really well. I think a common comment that I saw in regards to this remake, and I tend to agree with it, is why the Wave Ignitus 4? If you're going to bring back the Wave Ignitus, it should have been, in my opinion, the one or the two.
Yeah.
And the fact that they made this in the launch Wave Ignitus 1 colorway kind of just, I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me because it's like clearly that people maybe would have wanted the Wave Ignitus 1, but you gave us the 4 anyways.
Yeah.
With that said, from a wearability standpoint, I think this is the design that has probably aged the best. It's the least bulky compared to the original Wave Ignitus.
I have the twos right here, and they are fun. And then obviously you have the Mukaiten panel, and that's way more fun than just these bio pods here on the side, right? But from a wearability standpoint, these are just way bulkier, and I wouldn't want to wear these today. Let me just be honest. The Force, however, I've been rocking them quite a lot, and they are just, I mean, a few niggles here and there, but what a fit in these! What a perfect fit. The heel fit, the way the tongue just wraps the top of your foot. This leather on the outside of the toe box, sensational. The only thing I'd like to get rid of is this like very, very obvious transition from the rubber element to the leather, which is just. You can do better, Mizuno. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's. I think that was kind of my main issue with Wave Ignitus 3 and 4 because they both had that harsh transition. Although I will say I remember it as being worse than what it feels like on the remake.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time you spent going back to the original Wave Ignitus 4, but I almost feel
I've never seen that in hand, to be honest.
Oh, really?
I've only had the 1s, 2s, and 3s in hand.
So for me, whenever they do a remake, I think it's always cool to try the original side by side.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I think that the remake actually feels a little bit better than the original did. The transition at the very least seemed like it was more noticeable on the original than it is on the remake. So I think it's an improvement in that regard. But overall, for a football boot that is 6 years old and it's a power boot style, which is something that we really don't see anymore, it has aged exceptionally well. And I think I said this in my review as well. You can't really compare it to too much else out there.
No.
It kind of compares the best, I guess, to Predator Freak, Predator Edge. And I guess if we're comparing it to current models, I would pick this over any variation of the Predator Edge. It's not even a close comparison, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I mean, I posted it on Instagram. Someone said this is a better Predator than the current Predator, and that would be right. I mean, it has leather, it has rubber elements. You know, it's a relatively like solid feeling boot. It has that little bit of a powerful sensation to it. I agree. I mean, right now this is the best Predator on the market, and it's not a Predator, right? So
it's not a Predator.
And I think, you know, is it as aggressive as the Edge? No, but this is actually comfortable. So
it's super comfortable. It fits really well. It gives you that extra grip. I think the softness from what is admittedly a small amount of leather is still noticeable. And I think feels really good on the ball.
Yeah.
And the sole plate and stud pattern has aged really well. I've always been a big fan of these weird stud patterns that they put on the Wave Ignitus series. I like the way that it distributes the pressure. I think it's really, really comfortable, especially if you play on slightly harder pitches, which I typically do a lot of during the summer. And I think the boots are much lighter than I personally remember them. There's nothing about this that doesn't blend into the current football boot market.
But that's the amazing thing. Like, it has that, I don't want to call it the bulk of a Predator because it doesn't, but it has that solidity. It has that, you know, you feel like there's something working with you on your foot on top of all that comfort and the lightness. And that's the interesting thing because, you know, previous Predators have kind of always been like a little, there's been some body to it. They've had bulk, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's a very interesting balance. I was very pleasantly surprised when trying these out. And you know, back in the day, I wasn't, you know, Wave Ignitus 2, not a big fan. The 3s, a little bit better, but not much. And I was just like, the 4s, not going to bother. I mean, that was a mistake. That was clearly a mistake. Mm-hmm. These are lovely. And once again, Mizuno just goes to show that when you know how to make a well-fitting boot, it just makes all the difference. You know, a well-fitting heel that just hucks your foot the right way, amazing.
Yeah, they do a good job. They know how to do certain things, and they stick to doing those certain things. They don't.
Yeah.
I think they're a brand that you can say they don't do a lot of experimentation. They're not very adventurous with what they try to do. But I think when they execute something, they do it in such a way where it's like, wow, this was pretty well thought out, and there aren't very many flaws to pick out of what they've done.
But wouldn't you say that this was an era, you know, the 2010s, or at least also late 2000s, that where Mizuno were a little bit more adventurous than they are now?
For
sure. You know, we had the whole Shinken series, the Supersonics, the Ghost Strikers, obviously the Wave Ignituses. There's just a lot of stuff where they tried out new things, right? And this is you know, we're definitely not going to see Mizuno go this direction today, I would say. It just feels like they're playing it a bit safer today, and this is well executed, even for a boot from 2016.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this on a past episode, but I think something along the lines of a Wave Ignitus in today's day and age, I think that's something that could really put Mizuno. I don't want to say put them on the map because I think people are well aware of Mizuno that if you're in the know, but I think that something more, let's say, technologically forward, like the Wave Ignitus had been, something more experimental, I think they're capable of doing some really cool stuff. And you see some crazy things that they do within their running shoes and other sports that they do. We just haven't seen that in football boots as of late. And like you said, in the 2010 era, they were doing some really cool experimental stuff that I think people would be excited about now.
I agree. Like I probably told this story a few times before. One of the times we went to Japan, I think the year before you came with us. We went to their HQ in Osaka, just outside of Osaka, and the lobby basically has two gigantic robo legs in there, or you know, basically that were supposed to help athletes in the future. Like exoskeletons, basically. And I was like, you kidding me? Is this what you're working on, and you're doing OG, leather boots for us? Don't get me wrong. I love what they do, and they're really, really good at it. But it just feels like, they have this potential that we know that they have because they've done it before, and the boots were really good. It feels like they're a little bit afraid to touch that whole innovation segment again. And I would love to see, give us a hardcore speed boot, or go back into the power control segment, which you obviously had. You had a nice direction for it. This whole no spin Mukaiten, side spin, whatever, all the kitens that they call it, show kiten or also
all the kitens.
Yeah. I looked it up, the previous technologies on the previous Wave Ignituses, and there's all sorts of let me just check out what they're called. You keep talking.
They had quite a few. My opinion of Mizuno right now is I think everything they do extremely well. But I think if you look at what other brands are offering, I think back in the 2010 era when they were being experimental, so are all the other brands. And I think when you have Nike and Adidas really pushing new technologies and concepts that people are also excited about, it's going to be hard for a brand like Mizuno to kind of compete against that. Yeah. Right now, I feel like there isn't a lot of that within the industry in general. So I think if Mizuno were to have, let's just say the Wave Ignitus 4 replaces the Rebula Cup in their current lineup, I think this is a football boot that really stands out as being one of the best options out there, and certainly the most unique in terms of being that power boot, especially given the fact that the Predator Edge is just not that great right now.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It would be interesting to see them bring it back, and just in an updated version. There was Mukaiten and Tatekaiten and all sorts of other kitens.
Yeah, there was a few. Yeah.
I just never liked the threes, the twos for that matter. Ones were cool, but yeah. Anyways, great boot. If you have the money, go and get it. Personally, I would have loved to see them just slap the Rebula tooling on it, because it is the best out there. But hey, I can live with it. I can definitely live with it.
Yeah, it's very true to the original remake.
At least
if you had a Wave Ignitus 4 before, these feel the same thing, exactly the same.
It doesn't have that absolute killer of a super long bladed stud under the inner under the inside. What's that part of the foot called?
The forefoot.
The foot pillow. What do you call that?
The forefoot. The ball of your foot.
Yeah, the ball of your foot. That's what I'm talking about.
There you go.
That full foot. I know full foot. Come on. I know my English sucks at times, but it's not that bad. Anyways, any closing remarks on the Wave Ignitus 4 remake? What do you want to see next from Mizuno?
I still would like to see that Wave Ignitus 1 or 2, just because I think it's such an out there football boot.
It's just not going to happen now, is it?
I know. Now it's very doubtful. I would like to see them bring back some of the supersonic wave stuff. I really like those as well.
That'd be cool, right?
I loved those. I think those are super underrated looking back at the history of Mizuno. And like you said, I want to see them release something new and just go all out from a tech standpoint, because I think they're capable of greatness.
I'd love to see the Ghost Striker come back. That or the Wave Ghost, that would be really cool.
Wave Ghost was with the F50 lace cover.
Exactly, yeah.
And
the Ghost Striker is just that super. It's basically. It's a little bit like the Morelia Wave, just Wave Cup style, but with a bit more stage. It's like Wave Cup Legend, Morelia Wave, and the Morelia Ultra Light just mashed into one. It was a really interesting boot. Very, very interesting. Love to see that one back. Anyways, we move forward a bit in time, and PUMA, out of the blue, they dropped this. The Future Z 1.3 teaser model, exclusively worn by Neymar, and now, of course, yours truly. I've just reviewed it, but and 700 and something other fortunate players out there. And there have been comments, good and bad, on this teaser model. What was your first reaction when you saw it?
I like the way that they look. At no point did I say to myself that I don't like what they've done.
No.
I as much as I like the concept of the current Future Z and the Fusion Fit band through the midfoot, I think the way that this upper is broken down into different sections, as the time of recording this podcast, my pair is supposed to show up probably any minute now. So it's unfortunate that I don't have them before we're recording this, but from experience, I would tend to believe that the way that this upper is broken down using the same technologies, that it's going to feel a lot more streamlined on your foot versus the Future Z, which kind of feels like you have 3 sections of upper that don't flow all that well, if that makes sense.
Definitely makes sense. That's the case. So you might as well write your video right now because you know exactly what's about to happen. But that is the thing. They've simply just integrated the whole Fusion Fit technology. So these basically what makes up the Fusion Fit is these Sorona yarns, these like high-tech compression yarns that offer much more stability. They've woven that into the sock. Basically the midfoot, the heel sock. So now they're just, you can see the orange stripes. Those are the Sorona yarns. The rest is just the EvoKnit Pro that we know from the Future. This like really plush and very rich knit that has a good amount of stretch. It just feels amazing. But as you say, it feels more, it feels less intrusive and less compressed on your midfoot. Like it was very concentrated. It was very focused on that part of the midfoot. It worked, but it just felt a little bit unnatural, right? Whereas this is more seamless, it's more, or I would say less in the way, it's less obvious, it's less in your face. It works, it does the job, a great fitting boot, but it just feels like, you know, you have the complete freedom from the textile forefoot, textile mesh out here. It's super soft, stupidly soft, in fact. Just like on the first model, but feels a little less, I would say this has a little bit of a feeling of like, can I say cheap? Do you know what I mean when I say cheap? It's just, it was just a little bit of, you know, flimsy. Flimsy, that's the word.
To me, it was always difficult. Like as much as I like the Future Z 1.1 and 1.2, it was always difficult for me to say this is a top option when it comes to touch.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't think that the feel on the ball was as good as some of the other aspects of that football boot. And it's not bad in any one area, but I didn't think it was exceptional in any one area either. And I think, especially with the knitted concept, there's this expectation that you want the football boots to feel like a pair of socks. And this design, based on how it looks like it's going to lend itself much better to feeling like that. And I think you can even just see it with the shape. It's got a streamline. The silhouette looks more foot-like than the previous Future Z did.
It does, and you can tell that on the fit. They still have that silly running quarter of a size long thing, which I just don't understand. And you know, the toe box for me is still a little bit square, so I have a little bit of dead space out here. But other than that, it's a really well fitting boot, and you know, it's gonna be stuck a little bit in limbo to some people, I think, because it's not labeled as a control or a speed boot or whatever. But it's just, I'd probably compare it, you know, to the 1-1. Especially the leather one, which to me, apart from being an extremely beautiful looking pair of football boots, especially in the right colorway, but I love that boot because it was so well rounded. It was comfortable. It was light. It had a good pointy sensation, so it was very nimble on the ball. And I get the same feeling in this. You basically have this knitted midfoot heel part. And a super, super soft forefoot here. This doesn't feel flimsy. It's just soft. Little bit of padding on the inside, but still sharp on the ball. You get some texture. It's nice. Sticky coating on top. It feels natural, but in not in that raw, you know, very barefoot-like way. It's just got a little bit of finesse to it. Great pair of boots. 200 euros. I mean, if you don't know what else to get, these are just, they're comfortable. They're comfortable is what they are, and they just feel good.
Yeah, I think what I'm excited about with this boot is the fact that it is a full knitted upper. Because while there are still plenty of knits and textiles being used in football boots, the days of full knitted uppers have more or less kind of gone away. The Future Z was one of the last holdouts. The New Balance Furon is the other, I think, notable option. The Kayla is technically full knit too, but who really wants a Kayla? Let's be honest at this point.
Kind of crap. Sorry.
So I'm really hopeful in that this is going to have some Magista Obra vibes to it. That's kind of what I'm getting from that.
You know what? That's actually not a bad comparison. I hadn't thought of that, but this is definitely in Magista Obra 1 territory. Yeah, definitely. It's less, the forefoot is less padded, I would say, less pillowy, fluffy, little bit sharper, but yeah, mega soft and just, that was pretty good. I should totally have said that in my review. Damn it.
Too bad. Should have consulted me, Jay.
I should have. Now I know. But yeah, great pair of boots. I'm gonna rock these a lot, just for those days where I just want to feel good. These
and I like the colorway. I don't understand the haters on that colorway. I think it's cool.
A lot of people have said that it really reminds them that Puma are copying the battle pack, and you understand why. It's black and white camo, and it's orange. But here's the thing, guys and girls, that before the battle pack, there was actually the Puma Razzle Dazzle. Was it back in 2012 in the first Evo Speed, which also had this camo concept that was black and white, and you can say that Adidas then stole that and Puma copied that. I mean, everyone's gonna have something that looks similar at some point, right? You can also say,
and then if you go even further back, there was another black and white boot called the Copa Mundial.
Ooh, I smell a lawsuit coming in. Ooh.
It's like the internet's wild to me. Like calling out companies for copying black and white football boots is crazy.
Yeah, and there's a resemblance because it's camo and there's orange on it. Cool, but Puma actually have a history of releasing black and white camo boots or camo versions of upcoming boots. So I don't think that they sat down, the good people at Puma HQ, and looked across the road and said, how can we piss off Addy the most? I got it. Let's take one of the most iconic colorways in the last 15 years and let's roll with that.
Yeah, it's what it kind of reminds me of too is, remember those grass camo V106s?
Yeah. Cool.
Really cool looking boots. It kind of reminds me of that as well.
I see maybe there was also the ice camo. Maybe
it was like the one it was like gray and white and black.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The green grass camo, man,
the green one was cool. Yeah.
Those
are every colorway of that boot was cool.
It was. Even like the standard red one. I do have that where.
Yeah, the red one re-released, right? They did a remake of that one.
Was that that was the red one. Yeah,
they did a remake of that
this one actually.
No, Puma has such a cool history of forgotten football boots.
I don't know why I have it lying about on the floor, but it's total Josh style here. Just chug it on the floor and
organized, Jay. You're organized.
Yeah, I know. So any thoughts from I know you haven't tried it yet, but on the Future Z and like the future, pun intended, of the Future Z line.
I'm very hopeful because I think Puma has done a pretty good job. I would say, no, not even pretty good. They've done an excellent job over the last 2 years or so. I have recently revisited the Puma King Platinum 21, and my God, what an awful product. Like, I can't understand what they were going for. I think the Ultra 1.4 is arguably the most, I don't want to call it the best football boot on the market, because I don't think that's fair to say about anything. But in terms of what you get for what you pay, my God, it's an impressive proposition.
It's definitely.
And I think the Future Z has fallen behind the Puma Ultra in that regard. I'm hoping that this can catch up. And if it can match that at that same price point, obviously with a very different fit and feel characteristics, I think it'd be cool to say Puma has two of the best football boots on the market. And that are also some of the least expensive at the top end price points.
I don't think you would be wrong saying that Puma have two of the best football boots on the market, because there's not much to hate about the two boots. Depends on what you want, right? I agree. I mean, my worry is that the Future is a little bit too bland. It doesn't really have that thing that it does. Yes, for me, the standout feature is the fit. The comfort is wildly comfortable, and that is enough for me to just wanna, I've been waiting for the embargo to lift so I can actually wear these for training and matches, because I want to wear them, and that says a lot for a guy who has 750 pairs of boots, right? I want to wear these.
But you know what I think that says, Jay, and I don't know if we've touched on this lately, and maybe you don't agree with me at all. I think right now, like across the board, as far as top end boots go, it's a weaker lineup than we've seen in a while. Like I don't think there's that very many standouts right now. So I think there's a wide open door for Puma to walk through with the Puma Future Z with the right colorways and the right amount of hype around it. I think they could they could gain some headway with this if it's good.
What? It's a controversial statement, but I actually think you're right. The Mercs are the Mercs. I think they're brilliant football boots, but they could be a little bit more, speed specific. And they've been losing ground to the Speed Flows, which are, in my opinion, the best boots on the market. They've been losing ground because the Speed Flows are just a little bit more hardcore speed boots. And also, on top of that, absolutely fantastic boots, right? But the Edges are struggling. The Phantom GTs are not as popular as they could be. I mean, they're not bad boots, but they're just not there either, right? Legends are really hard to come by. Solid boots. Morelia Neos are not widespread enough, but one of the best on the market still in my book. And Addy, Copa's
the Copa and the Predator lines right now they're struggling. They are struggling.
But that's because they're
not good.
No, they're not comfortable. And in this day and age, if a football boot is not comfortable from the get-go, why should I wear it? There are tons of other options out there. Case in point, I can wear this and it feels like you have been waltzing around in these for 3 stinking weeks and just softening up this material. And it's like, it's pure love out of the box. And then I get Adidas's, heritage comfort option. And it's stiff as, I don't get it, man.
Yeah, none of it makes sense. And you pay more for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit weird. I mean, I get all the tech needs to be on point. We need to talk innovation, cool, moving boundaries, all that stuff. But if it's not comfortable, people don't want to wear it. And if it's not comfortable, people are not going to buy the second generation because the first one sucked. You're right. It's an interesting market. And I think obviously that's why Puma have been gaining market share, is that they have really competitive prices, and I hope they will continue with that. But the quality of the boots is up there with the best. I mean, so yeah, very interesting. And also now is the time for New Balance, Mizuno, to really swoop in and just, take that up. That's why Mizuno, I know you can't just whip up a boot, but on the back of the Edge, I mean, someone should come in and fill out that control boot void.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's huge opportunity for something with rubber elements right now.
People should go. I mean, honestly, I know boot nerds will have already bought this, but if you're, for some reason, not a boot nerd and you've managed to confuse your way into this, 30 minutes into this podcast strictly about football boots, if that's the case, go and buy the Wave Ignitus 4 instead of the Edge. It's just a friendly neighborhood tip from your Uncle Jay. Okay.
Questions.
What else is new questions? Let's jump into the questions. There is one from Long Tran. Can't wait Josh's reaction about the new Wave Ignitus remake. You just got it. Ignitus or the last 3 Predators? Go.
Wave Ignitus. Not even close for me. From just based on comfort and fit alone. I love what. Let's eliminate Edge. Edge doesn't even count. But if we just talk about Demonskin in general, I think it's a phenomenal innovation. I think it's such a cool way of doing something that has been done before a bunch of different times, including in Adidas' own Predator history, but not giving us that leather upper and always kind of fiddling with shape and putting prime knit uppers that aren't, in my opinion, as knitted feeling as they should feel. To me, Wave Ignitus 4.
Yeah. I think I agree, It's just what would I wear? I would wear the Wave Ignitus. I would straight up wear the Wave Ignitus because it's just so damn comfortable. And again, it comes down to comfort, right? If we could include the Pred Cobb X and take away that absolutely appalling colorway that it has, it's a contender. But still,
see, I really love that concept as well, but I don't think that upper feels comfortable.
Really?
I don't like that Copa Sense 0.1 upper.
Well, I would agree, but the forefoot on that boot, man, that is...
Yeah, the leather at the front is awesome.
Yeah.
But what's happening through the midfoot, and I don't like that heel liner either.
Probably end up with the... And also, they didn't make it my size. So yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and claim to be some sort of hero within the boot reviewing world, but I mean, Just make me a UK 6 man so I can talk about the boots. I mean, if you want us to give some screen time to the boots, I mean, just make it. I don't get it. Anyways, just me being butthurt here. I'm way over entitled. That was not nice. Anyway, Dago353 got a boot related question for you both as well. Currently love playing in the Techcraft Vapor 10s, but they're starting to fall apart. Is there a replacement that you recommend in the current market? I've been having a hard time trying to find the exact model since they're so old now. Techcraft Vapor 10s are amazing. Amazing.
Really good.
And among the best Techcraft models from Nike ever, I would say.
Yeah, the most pure Techcraft model.
Those and the Vapor 13s.
Yeah, Vapor 13 Techcraft, excellent.
Outstanding. And some of my favorite football boots in a long, long time. You know, they're right. Anyway, Mizuno Morelia Neo 3 Beta Japans.
Yeah, that would be, in terms of like stuff that's readily available. I was also going to say the PUMA Ultra, I think it was a 1.3 in leather.
The Laser Touch?
It was a Laser Touch model, but there was two versions. I think it was the second generation of the Laser Touch ones. Okay. One was all black, the other one was all white.
Yeah.
They're pretty much sold out everywhere as far as I know, but if you can find a pair of those for the $200 that they're asking, man, that's a phenomenal pair of football boots.
I never managed to get one in hand. I just got the Futures, which it was lovely. But for me,
the Futures also good.
Yeah.
But the Ultras were really good.
Gotcha. Where did I leave that window? Okay, Matthew Chung. Hey, JayMike and SR4U Josh. I'm 13 years old. I'm a speedy winger with wide feet, and am I having trouble picking from the Phantom GT2 Pros, PUMA Ultra 2.2s, and Merc Pros? If you guys don't mind, can you please talk about that in one of your upcoming videos? That'll mean the world to me. Thank you very much. You're welcome, Matthew. Look, picking between the Phantom GT2 Pros, PUMA Ultra 2.2s, and the Mercurial Pros. What should he choose? Not the GTs,
Ultra 2.3.
Ultra 2.3. I agree.
That's what I would go for. Even if it's a little bit more expensive, it is well worth it because you're effectively getting a top-end product at a takedown model price.
Yeah. It's basically a hybrid between the actual 1.3 and the 1.2 with the tooling from both of them.
From the top-end model. And you're going to get the width and volume that you need.
Yeah. So, that's the one. Go for that. That's the correct answer. Merc Pros are not bad either, but the Ultra 2.3s are just they're better.
It's better.
And if you're looking to also save a little bit of money, they're 110 euros instead of 130 euros on unisport.com right now. Shameless plug.
Wow. How convenient.
Oh yeah. I just happen to have those right next to me as well. Luca Natale. Would you guys ever be open to having another boot nerd on the podcast? For example, I manage a retail store in Montreal, Canada, so right across the street from Josh, and we are supporters of the top brands and the Pure line. So there you go, Josh. I mean, we've been talking about it before, and it's definitely something I think we could do in the future. But I think there's the question of practicality, right? Basically, we're here, set up, we're speaking on a FaceTime connection, cameras in front of us, big audio setup, and we could probably do it, but it would be a little bit more of a hassle getting people in, and it could be interesting, but we could explore it in the future. What have we talked about this?
I think it's something we can look into. First, I just want to comment on everyone thinking Canada is like the size of a country in Europe. Like it's always funny to me when I get a DM saying like, "Oh, I'm coming to Canada for vacation. Where should I? What's a good football boot store to go to?" And I'm like, "Where are you going in Canada? It takes like 40 hours to drive across the country. It's massive. Just for like Montreal or Quebec is like 6 or 7 hours of drive from where I am. So it's not exactly close by.
No. You can literally drive through Europe from north to south quicker than you can drive across Canada. It's like a ginormous country.
Yeah, the amount of land Canada spans is quite significant.
So Montreal is to the west, right?
Oh God.
What's more west than Montreal? Of that, there's one all the way out. Is that Queenstown? No, that's in Australia. All the way out to the west in Canada. What's that?
Would be like BC, I think.
What's that?
British Columbia.
Okay.
Vancouver.
That's the one I was
going towards like California, I think.
Yeah. Vancouver. That was the one I was.
Wait, west. No, that's the other way. Oh, fuck. I'm not sure.
Is Vancouver to the right? Is Vancouver to the
Jay,
right?
I'm so bad at geography and directions here. Let's remember back earlier in the podcast when I couldn't figure out that the 2016 was 6 years ago and not 8 years ago.
Yeah, Vancouver's to the west, so you're good. Montreal
I was right. Okay, good.
is to the east and a little bit away from Ottawa and Toronto. And yeah, I'm totally using Google Maps here. So not that far away from you. But the joke was kind of, right across the street from Josh. He was kind of stuck in limbo, I guess.
Yeah. So not super close. But as far as guests on the podcast go,
be fun. Just need to find the right
guests are
format.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about a new permanent member.
No.
But I think a guest could be interesting.
Yeah. We could definitely take a look at that. Just need to find the right people who want to actually yap about football boots for an hour. There should be plenty.
Yeah.
We have a guy called Blaze Leon. You guys should do a top 10 boots on takedown models. Sure. There are many great ones. Just to mention a few, we've already said the Puma Ultra 2.3s. They're great. Morelli Neo 3 Pros. They're great. Jumbo Legend 9 Pros. They're great. Premier 2s. They're great. What else is there? Merc Pros. Solid. Addy. I guess the speed flows are, they're right.
I think for me, the issue with making lists like that is you get people that understand, and maybe we'll go and watch a review of each of these individual products that you're calling out. And then you're going to have the people that say, oh my gosh, this guy hates Adidas. All he picked are Nike products because Nike makes better takedown models than Adidas.
They do.
Typically.
They do.
Typically. Not in every situation.
Right now they do. They do.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
You can't really offer an even distribution of brand representation when you're talking about takedown models. And honestly, even with some top-end models right now.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, go look at any top 10 boots on the market list, and you're not going to see a lot of Adidas outside of the Speedflow. Is what it is. It's funny though that they need to get back on the horse, man. It's good for them that they have the X Speedflow right now.
Yeah,
and I hope that whatever comes next in the X line is as good, or if not better, because otherwise they are in.
They're gonna have problems.
Bit of a pickle, yeah. Anyways, I think that was no. There's one more I have from Alejandro A. Best. Has Muka Lodrich been a name? Don't think so. We should totally do that after yesterday. Also, did you realize that the chunky laces in the Speedflow Mi Historia, the Messi boots, are a reference to the chunky laces in the Pive de Barrio, which nobody liked, by the way. And I did not think that far back. No.
I noticed that. And I also recognized that the Pive de Barrio one had much chunkier laces. These ones are actually more flat, but they still have that little bit of a rounded shape to them because of the. Yeah, you remember those now?
Yeah, Pive de Barrio. That was absolutely. It was like sneaker laces, and the bad ones. Why did that pass QC?
I don't understand what that one was. That was a weird decision. I think the idea there is that they were two colors on each side, right? There
Probably,
was a gray side and a black side.
Yes, I had to go with that.
But they looked awful. They felt even worse. It's not good. Speaking of laces, I know we're done with Mizuno, but why did they put grip laces on the Wave Ignitus 4 remake? That was not something that was featured on the original.
No?
Kind of a weird little thing.
Okay. Well, maybe they finally listened and actually updated their laces. I guess we'll see. But yeah, cool story, guys. But yeah.
I don't know why they did that.
That's cool, I guess. But
I just checked again to make sure I wasn't crazy, and the originals, in fact, did not have them.
it's a wild world we live in, Josh. With those words, if you have any questions for us that you'd like us to answer, leave them in the comment section right down below. If you had a good time about us chatting about the Wave Ignitus 4 and the PUMA Future Z 1.3 teaser models, leave a thumbs up on the video. And of course, you can go check out more of what we do on our individual channels as are for you and Unisport. And of course, make sure you subscribe to this channel, the Bootnerds Podcast, by clicking the white bubble in the middle of the screen. You can also go and listen to us on Spotify, etc. You can find all the links on bootnerdspodcast.com. Is that the one? That's the one.
Yes.
So go do that. Have some fun. And we'll see you next time in episode 134. With those words, I've been JayMike, and I approve this message. Cheerio. Signing off.
Thanks for watching.
Hej. Vi ses senere. Ha' det godt, mine venner.